Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, January the 6th, 2021. Today is Epiphany. Today's daily Bible readings come to us from Isaiah 61 through 6, Psalm 72, 1 through 7, and 10 through 14, Ephesians 3, 1 through 12, and then Matthew 2, 1 through 12. And I'm going to look at the connection between Isaiah's text for today and Matthew's text for today, because it being Epiphany, one of the things that we look at, by the way, it is now officially Christmas is officially over. So, you can take down your tree and stuff. And Epiphany, the season of Epiphany has started with today, Epiphany Day. And we're going to be moving through a very short season of Epiphany and then moving towards Lent. And then towards Easter. And then next thing you know, we're at Pentecost and then the season after Pentecost. And then it'll be Advent again. Yay! Anyway, so Epiphany, one of the things we do at Epiphany is we remember the appearance of God, the appearance of the Christ child that is celebrated in Matthew when the Magi come and show up. Sometimes, you hear them talked about as the three kings. Spoiler alert, the text doesn't number them. The text doesn't call them king. It says wise men. The word for that is magi. They came because they saw this star rising in the west, right, from their perspective in the east. And so they saw this star. Now, if you might remember back in December, everybody got all excited about the Christmas star that was appearing on the horizon. And a lot of, people have said, well, this Christmas star, this is probably what the wise men saw. Maybe not. We don't really know. Anyway, but what everybody was excited about was this great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn that they kind of over weeks heading up to that, they grew closer and closer together until they were like a tenth of a degree apart from each other, and it just basically looked like one big star. And so in order to see it, you had to go out into a dark place. You had to go out away from city lights. You had to go someplace where you could get, especially in our neck of the woods, you had to get away from ridges and things like that so you could actually see the horizon. And you had to wait for the sun to set. Thankfully, this is one of those astronomical events that we get to see that we didn't have to wait till like 3 o'clock in the morning to see it. All you had to do is look towards the southwest and wait for the sun to go down, wait for the earth to move into its own shadow, wait for the darkness to grow, and then, like magic, this new star appeared. Although it wasn't really a new star, it was just Jupiter and Saturn lining up with each other. They weren't technically any closer to each other, they just looked closer to each other in the sky. So, like I said, to see it, you had to stand somewhere away from the city lights and wait for the sun to set and wait for all this darkness. And then you could see this Christmas star. As the darkness covered the earth, this star appeared. So, the interesting thing is when you stand in darkness like that, even a pinpoint of light really, really stands out. And it's not that this was even the brightest star in the sky. It was just an unusual star in the sky. It wasn't like it was the brightest thing. A lot of, our Christmas cards and stuff, we see this incredibly bright star and it looks like it's got points of light coming off of it and everything. If you were looking for that on the 21st, you were sorely disappointed. You just saw a star that normally shouldn't be there. So this is why, we get this text Isaiah and Matthew, and Isaiah made this promise to the people that even though the shadow was growing over them, that this darkness that was growing over them and their world that they lived in, that God's glory would indeed rise like a beacon over them. And God's glory would be such a beacon of light, would stand out so much in the darkness, that even the kings of the earth would, look to it and use it as a beacon and a guide to come to the people of Israel, that they would come to them. And they would come and it talks about them coming in a train full of young camels and that they would be bringing gifts of gold and frankincense. Sound familiar? And so this is where we get the wise men. This is the wise men living out the promise that God made through the prophet Isaiah to his people. And they come from the east. And they come and they are bearing what? Gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. So, we live in this world where I think a lot of us feel that it's like getting darker every day and that there's like this shadow growing. But even though it's not Christmas anymore, we can still take pleasure and joy and peace in the fact that God has appeared, that God is standing on the horizon. He gives us a beacon of light to look towards. And his promise is that all the wise men of the earth, all the kings of the earth will look towards that light and move towards it. So anyway, that's the DBR for today. We'll be back on Thursday with another DBR. Get out. Have a good day.